True Freedom Podcast on location here in Montreal.
Literally in the moment.
In the moment. We weren't planning this at all. That's how we basically make every decision. But we were just in Costa Rica 2 days ago, then Colombia yesterday, and Montreal today.
Vancouver in the next couple days.
Yeah, after tomorrow. So, well, why did we come?
We came to meet our new mentor, Mr. John Lopez.
Yep.
Dinner. There's an event here in Montreal, Quebec area. Literally, Jamie and I are sitting here and we're like, yo, we need to film a podcast. And so the podcast owner literally comes right up to us and is like, hey, I own the podcast.
we're literally outside these doors 5 minutes ago. We saw the banner, said, oh, the podcast studio, we should film one before we head out to Vancouver. And the owner comes up 2 minutes later and says, yeah, I own that studio. And then he said, why don't you guys film tomorrow? And I thought, well, our flight's at 10 o'clock. The event here is till 7. How far is the podcast studio from here? And then we got to get to the airport. And we were like figuring this all out. And then I noticed there was 2 empty seats. And I said, hey, can we just film it right now? And here we are.
True freedom.
So we're not going to miss our flight tomorrow, which is awesome.
Always works out perfectly.
And, well, what did we start to tell them? That we talk about consciousness and currency. That's the true freedom. And many people on the planet today aren't even aware of what that means. And that's why this podcast is such an important tool to really have the deep conversation, right? Because, of course, as soon as we open our mouth about our experiences in that realm, there's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of misunderstanding. And it's like we noticed just being in Colombia a couple of days ago when we sat down with that marketing team, that it really takes a couple hour, 3 hour, whatever conversation to really wrap yourself around what it is that we've even experienced and what our mentor Don Smith can do. You know, because no one else can do it on the planet. We've been all over the world trying to find someone that can do that.
Travel far and wide.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And how many people have we met that have made the millions of dollars, our previous selves included, but then they're living at a low state of consciousness like we were, and it just comes with all of those toxic patterns and purposeless. You don't even know why you're on the planet. Oh, did I come to just add another 0 to my bank account? Like how long can you go until you're like, is my purpose really just to make money and then be like the richest guy in the graveyard?
Yeah. I mean, and I'm literally like a couple of days ago, I'm telling you, I'm like, I did not come here to have managed reservations, you know.
For your Airbnb business.
Airbnb business.
Yeah.
Like what?
You're like, yeah, my Airbnb is not going too well. I'm like, that's awesome. Thank God, because I couldn't imagine trying to manage that. And no offense, right? Because there's so many people that are doing so many things that are supporting to society, right? Like the barber that I got the haircut today, and you know, and having someone that has the studio that we can pop in and have these important conversations. Like all of this is very supporting stuff.
For sure.
But I couldn't imagine, you know, my journey if I didn't meet Don and he told me his vision of raising humanity's consciousness to the level of enlightenment. As soon as I heard that, I thought, that's why I came. That's why I came to the planet. Like, why else would I have come?
Yeah.
But to shake this shit up a bit, right? And talk about great timing, because one of the biggest things that's ever happened in history is Trump. Trump winning the election just a couple days ago. All odds against him. I mean, we were just looking at the map of the states that Kamala won, right? The blue states. There was quite a few, 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Every single one that she won didn't require voter ID. It didn't require ID to vote. She didn't win one state that required ID. What does that tell you? What is the reason to not ask for ID? We got to ask for ID here just to get tickets at this business conference. Are you telling me you're going to vote for the president of the most powerful country in the world and not show ID. There's only one reason.
Things that make you go home.
But the fact that the whole world was against him. I mean, all the media, all of not only the most powerful leaders in America, but all over the world. I mean, if you look at any other country that are leading it in the way that the United States has been led. I mean, we're in Canada, my home country. And what did I tell you? I told you, man, this place is like if Kamala was in power for the last 15 years, right? And there is no Trump in Canada right now to run against Trudeau, right? So, and many people aren't aware of what's going on, but that's the beautiful part about America right now, is that all of that dark is coming to the light right now. And Trump's showing. And not only him, but the Elons and the Robert Kennedy Jr.'s that are involved in this mission.
Which is a representation of the human experience and the consciousness and shifting.
It is.
Which is really amazing to see that everything that is been leading up to now has actually been a ripple effect of things that have happened many, many years ago, and we're on the leading edge of this. And it's
true. But when I told you yesterday all these pieces coming together, that I was like, oh, you know what, maybe all this work Don and I have done in the background for the last 4 years, you know, did move the needle. Like, I hope we'd be responsible for something positive that, you know, brought more light to the planet. But yeah, to give them a reference on the consciousness scale, right? Dr. Hawkins, the late Dr. Hawkins, he passed away, but he made a beautiful chart. You could Google it, and it goes from 0 to 1,000, and you see all the states of consciousness. And the important thing to know is that most of the planet is under 200. The average on the planet is 210 consciousness out of 1,000. And so with Don taking his program and going from where we were, which was under 200, I was around 125, to over 700, the state of enlightenment, to do that in 2 hours. And we've had our journey of falling off and resisting it and going back into the ego and all of that fun stuff. It was a fun journey.
Nice,
but always coming back to the truth, right? And knowing how powerful that really was. And then having the program to be able to actually, for the people that are open and ready on the leading edge and resonate with this mission and vision of raising all of humanity's consciousness. These are the leaders. These are the pioneers that are coming in, and okay, I'm ready to face that and go egoless and experience who I truly am, not who I think I am. You know, all these logical systems, especially in the business world. I mean, Ty, who we're having dinner with tonight, he talks a lot about knowledge and books, and all of that is amazing. But all the logic, reason, that all, if you look at the chart, it maxes out at 400 level of consciousness, 499. That's the level of reason. After that, you get into the stronger, you know, emotions. But not many people are talking about this. This is so, we were going around the room tonight, and it's like, how do we even, in a 5-minute conversation of meeting someone, even try to help them wrap themselves around what we do? But the guy asks you, oh, what do you do, right? And you're like, oh man, like it's a hard thing to answer.
I just said whatever it takes, because at this point,
yeah, you said whatever it takes. He's like, that's a good answer.
But this is what it takes, right? It's having the conversation and
of course,
giving people a different perspective of what we're doing and why this is so important.
Well, why you share?
All of these wars, 28 wars all around the world, it's not because of anything other than human consciousness and operating from these lower levels.
All the symptoms, all the toxic symptoms in the planet, whether it's on an individual level of fighting with your wife, or maybe you're on your 4th divorce, or maybe you keep making millions but you spend it at the blackjack table every single time and you go broke. Like whatever the toxic pattern is, the cause. I love the old quote by Neville Goddard, also passed away, but Neville Goddard had a quote. He said, man's chief delusion is that there's causes outside of his own state of consciousness. And that's a deep one. But if you can truly wrap yourself around that, that is it. So when we look at the collective and all the problems, as you mentioned, on the planet, all those symptoms, what's the cause? The state of consciousness.
State of consciousness.
Yeah. So what's the solution?
State of
Raising the state of consciousness. And how do we do that?
through our own inner worlds.
Yeah, and more specifically, with our mentor Don's program, I haven't found anyone else that. I mean, we took everything that you could find under the sun. Yeah, and there's many people. There's many people that have reached those higher states of consciousness,
But no process.
but they don't have a process,
No
right?
process.
No process to duplicate it. It's like, oh yeah, well I meditated for 18 years and then boom, or whatever. But to be in front of a master who we now have part of our community twice a week, he's doing Zoom calls all over the world, and we're just pre-launching that. So it's like, talk about being on the leading edge. But now, no matter where you are on the planet, you can tune in on a Tuesday or a Thursday and go through this process that Don's mastered over the last 40 years and actually experience who you truly are, which is this enlightened state of consciousness, and then the ripple effect of you showing up all over the world, maybe dressed as pink in a room full of black. I used to only wear black clothes. After I took Don's program, I was like, this doesn't resonate. You know? Used to be an alcoholic too. I haven't had a drink for a while.
Used to be a lot of things.
Yeah. I used to smoke weed almost every day, especially being back in Canada here. It's like, you just smell it everywhere on the streets.
Everywhere. Four Seasons.
It's like Starbucks and dispensaries. That's Canada.
Tim Hortons.
And I love Canada. I'd say like the people here, they're just so kind and friendly. It's really, really, really good people. But also had a lot of symptoms that I had, which is like hiding, like a lot of just want to fit in. Like, how many people do you know that stand out in Canada? The ones that we were mentioning yesterday were the ones that went to America. It's like Jim Carrey or Ryan Reynolds, right? They went to Hollywood. We asked the owner of this podcast studio, like, is there many podcasters here in Montreal? He's like, well, not anyone really famous yet. You know? Yeah. Well, that's the battle of that state of consciousness, right? You're always looking to hide and protect because you're in that level of fear, right? Under 200 consciousness is all fear-based programming, which is just the ego, and it's stopping you from doing anything.
Yeah. It's a way of protecting, which is all the ego is trying to protect you.
Yeah. Protect you from the illusion that you're going to die.
You're going to get to the root cause. Yep.
Bring back Trump. I mean, talk about fearless and having to be out of the ego, because literally being attempted to be assassinated and almost the entire world being against you and wanting you dead.
And then still putting himself in harm's way every single day. 3 times
Every
a day,
day.
multiple times a day.
Every day. 3 cities, 3 stadiums, multiple podcasts, millions of, like, just crazy levels of fearlessness.
Which he was a huge inspiration of why we're on this world tour right now. It was literally only like a few days ago. I was in San Jose, Costa Rica. Jamie was also there. I had just landed there from Mexico, and he's like,
On the beach.
oh, you're on the beach.
But yeah, in Costa Rica.
In Costa
Caribbean
Rica.
side,
And then you're just like, we're going.
yeah.
We're going.
Well, we were looking at land, right, to put together the whole team compound in the middle of the jungle. So I was, for a couple of weeks, I was on these nature treks, and all I saw were cows and monkeys, and I was like, okay, and well, maybe this is it. Maybe we set up our base here in the middle of nature, and we broadcast to the world, Starlink. And that was it. That was the plan. And then I started tuning in, seeing what Trump was doing, and I'm like, man, we're playing small. Like, what do you mean we're gonna just be here in the jungle and broadcast from here? Like,
Neighbors with the cows.
yeah, I mean, everyone already knew Trump, and he was still, like we said, every day in a different city, stadiums of people. I'm like, okay, that's what it takes. Versus, Kamala's campaign, which was the playing small version. She did like 2 interviews.
A week.
No, like total. In 2
Really?
months. Yeah, it was really bad.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't do any podcast, like nothing, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, you still don't know who the real Kamala is because it's just scripted acting. The couple times that she spoke on the, very scripted media outlets. But Trump did the opposite, right? He was bringing his family across the whole country, flying to different places, talking to everyone, going on the podcast, having a 3-hour conversation with Joe Rogan. I mean, that's why it was a landslide. That's why he won. People are resonating with that. They want real. They want authentic. And you can't get to know someone on a 12-minute script,
Yeah,
So
that's
we're
what
on the
these
Trump
conversations.
campaign. This is the Trump campaign. Although we're doing the international version.
Yeah.
He kept it to just the U.S. So
We got some places to see, people to talk to.
it's our
and
4th country in
conversations
3
to have.
days.
4th country.
Yeah. Colombia was amazing too. Great people there, great connections.
I'll be in Mexico soon.
Yeah. And then LA, November 19th, to do the podcast with Ty
That's how I love
at his
this.
place in Beverly Hills. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
And who knows what's going to happen after that. So
Don't know, but we'll just be led step
we
by
didn't
step.
even, like we said, we didn't even know we were going to do this podcast. And really, in the moment, it was so there's a bunch of people all around us having their own many conversations. And we're having this one because it's important to be had, what exactly we're doing, what's the mission, and we're looking for people that resonate with this message to join us in raising humanity's consciousness, because this is why we came to the planet.
100%. True freedom, which is consciousness and currency. We've had the high consciousness with no money. That's not fun.
Nah,
We've had all the money with no consciousness. That's not fun.
that was
either.
hell.
It's very destructive. That's very destructive. Good times.
Great
Not
times.
really. Many near-death experiences.
Relatable.
Anyways.
So
Both. Yeah. Both. And really remembering, because we're just talking to the few that are remembering, like I did when Dawn told me that that's why they came to the planet, that there actually was a reason to come here, to enlighten this whole place, because it's very dark, very caveman type energy, still wars, killing each other, like for what? So I can imagine the conversation that we had before we came into these bodies, into this planet. And I sure, I just know that it was, let's go light that place up.
Yes.
Let's go light that place up. Not, let's become billionaires and, get houses next to each other and have cameras protecting us and, have big gates and, never see anyone again. I don't think that was the conversation.
No.
So for those of you that are resonating with knowing that was your mission and you're here to be a part of that, reach out because we'll make it happen. And we're going to be in a city near you. We're coming all over the world.
Mission: a road to 1 billion.
Yeah. And now I think it's time to have dinner with Ty here pretty quick. So I'm going to wrap it up.
Awesome. Well, thank you for tuning in to the True Freedom Podcast. We'll see you next time.
See ya.